Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamaduchyate Purnasya Purnamataya Purnameva Vasishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. So, we have come again for this is a Kriya retreat, I think, right? So, if it's a Kriya retreat, today we are not doing much. We're just starting to know people, because I think some new people might have come. This is a nice place. Today we won't do much. We'll just have kind of a interaction. Tomorrow we'll start in all seriousness. I would like to know how many people have come for the Kriya, to take Kriya Yoga. New people. Not, so there are lots of people. Okay, put your hand. Which means the main intention of this retreat is Kriya, I think. Not anything else. So I find that there are many new people, and there are many of our old friends who have taken Kriya from me and practiced only on that day. Thank you very much. Because people take Kriya, then they are doing some other Riya, Biya, Kiya, and then Kiya. And then it's all gone. Then they come again, which is good. It's a good review. So I'm hoping the review continues for some time. Which means what? Come again and review. So, tomorrow I am going to, please don't worry, we have 2 full days. You will get your Kriya, those who haven't taken Kriya. Why? Because when I talk and when I go into some subjects, you might think that this is going to take all the time and Kriya is not going to come. Not true. You will get your Kriya. Whether you practice or not is up to you. If you say, well, I will take Kriya, but I will practice Kriya sometimes, other times I will do Biya or Miya or something like that, then it is not going to help, not going to have any effect. Yeah? So, some people say, okay, Kriya and all I have taken, I want to see Narayana, as if it is so simple, he's the next door neighbor. It doesn't happen like that. So, tomorrow I will explain to you a basis or the reason why we want to do Kriya, why we do Kriya. Are we doing Kriya to improve our health or improve our career or become a guru or, any number of things, or get the Ashtasiddhis and walk on water, fly in the air? Why are we doing Kriyas? Because today internet is full of shortcuts. 10 minutes of this and you are free. Kriya is not like that. You need to work hard on it. The person sitting in front of me has practiced Kriya for days together. When he started, of course. I may not need it now. Now I have to be careful when I say this, because after 3 months somebody says, I also don't need it, I'm done now. So, these are some important points to note. Okay. Now, to whom can Kriya be given? Can anyone take Kriya? Is there any special qualifications for Kriya? Or, is it a joke or is it something serious? In the beginning, when I was asked tomorrow we are going to discuss what we hope to attain through Kriya. And then how to practice Kriya. Why? Because the standard textbook that we have on yoga which everybody follows, no matter what your darshana is the Yoga Darshana. And in the Yoga Darshana, the Yoga Sutras of Patanjali are considered to be the authoritative, authentic textbook on yoga. Now, in this work called the Yoga Sutras of Patanjali, I know you are eager to practice, but the first chapter of Patanjali's Kriya Yoga, of Yoga Sutras is not practice. It's called Samadhi Pada, which means a description or trying to describe or a study, let's say, of what yoga leads to first before the practice. Otherwise, without knowing where you're going, in blind alleys we go around and we practice Kriya and then something happens, there's smoke coming through my nose, sir, what am I supposed to do? So, I'm not saying smoke is going to come, giving you an example, exaggerated example. So, the thing is, you should know why we do Kriya or any other exercise, any sadhana. Kriya is only one of the sadhanas. Let me tell you from the very beginning that Kriya is not the magic answer for all problems. Why I'm saying, because tomorrow if you thought it was magic, you can take a refund and go home happily. Yoga is not, Kriya Yoga is not an answer to all your problems. And it's not a shortcut. Some people somewhere have written it's a jet plane way and all other things are slow, which is, I think it's complete nonsense. You have to put in your energy, you have to practice, you have to, and each person's pace in the growth spiritually is different. It's not the same. Why? Because we come with a big load of many influences in our past, so the pace may be different. So don't compete with somebody. Somebody is seeing lights, I am seeing nothing. Seeing lights is not the aim of Kriya. The lights you can see here also. So, I know I sound quite unorthodox, but these are realities which we have because it has been misunderstood. So now, yes, then why should we do Kriya at all? Now the first chapter of the Yoga Sutras of Patanjali is called Samadhi Pada. That means the chapter on Samadhi, which means the chapter which describes where you are going. What is Samadhi? What do you attain through the practice of Kriya or any other meditation or pranayam practice? So, Samadhi Pada is the first chapter. Therefore, we also will tomorrow, for some time, discuss what it means. What are the different levels of consciousness and awareness that one needs to go to? What is Samadhi Pada? Is there a state called Samadhi? And is Samadhi only consists of visions, or is it something more than that? This is the first chapter, and therefore I will take you back a little bit to the Upanishads, because they are the source of all this. Anything that you read on the textbooks on yoga later is also the Patanjali's Yoga Sutras. Much of the base for that you will already find in the Yoga Upanishads. There are 20 Yoga Upanishads, which are from ancient Vedas like Yajurveda, Krishna Yajurveda, etc., which discuss yoga, what yoga is, what does it mean, where does it lead. So, we will go into this a little bit. We won't study the Yoga Upanishads, but you can always go home and study the Yoga Upanishads. But we will go into the Upanishads and figure out what are we searching. Why are we doing Kriya Yoga? Is it merely physical or psychological, or is it beyond? Are we looking for life? What is the essence of life? Where are we going? Right, so this tomorrow I will start with that. Then the next chapter of the Yoga Sutras is called Sadhana Pada, which means the practice. Now, it is this part where practical Kriya Yoga comes into the picture. In fact, please understand that Patanjali himself calls his practice Kriya Yoga. Because the first line of Sadhana Pada, chapter on practice, starts with Tapas Swadhyaya Ishwarapranidhana Kriya Yoga. So the whole of the practice of yoga is Kriya Yoga. It's not as if there is a separate Kriya Yoga. When I say Kriya Yoga, I'm talking about a particular method or technique which has come down to me from Sri Guru Babaji to Maheshwarnath Babaji to me. This is what I say when I say Kriya Yoga. But the whole of yogic practice, which may consist of many kriyas, is still Kriya Yoga. The whole practice is Kriya Yoga. So what does Kriya Yoga consist of according to Patanjali? I just said, tapas. We all know tapasya. We have all heard of tapasya. Dhruva stood like this and did tapasya. And so on and so forth. But the tapasya of that kind, where you stand in water up to the neck with one foot up, was in the Treta Yuga. It doesn't work in Kali Yuga. You will be dead in no time. It doesn't work. There people lived for hundreds of years, so they had all this, but not now. Although we believe that we are in the most advanced period of civilization and we are living for so long, the Bhagavad keeps on lamenting, this is the period, Kali Yuga, when people have short lives and dull intelligence. And we think we are the brightest. So anyway, so what did I say? This is going to be for the next 2 days. Suddenly I'll ask you, what did I say? What? Duffer? What did I say? Tapas, correct. So tapas comes from the word tap, which means heat. Tap. In Hindi they say tap aage when you get fever. Tap is heat. So why is it called tapasya? Means, look, everybody, most of us, most human beings, are going along with the stream of life. Wherever life leads us, wherever the five senses take us, we move towards that. Maybe one person stands up and says, I'm going to swim in the opposite direction. Now when I say I'm going to swim in the opposite direction, it means there is resistance, right? When there is resistance, there is heat generated. That's exactly what we mean by friction. Heat is generated. This is tapasya, which means the moment I decide that my mind or my senses are saying do this, and I am saying no, I am going to do the other thing, I am going to reverse, it becomes tapasya. Heat is generated, the heat of resistance. Also in Kriya we have a practice where heat is generated in the Navi. That's different. That is practice. So this is tapasya. Generating the heat, it also means lighting the inner fire and generating the heat, which Nachiketas learned from Yamadeva in the Kathopanishad. Okay, so this is tapasya. So tapasya basically means I am ready to give up something in order to do something else. I am ready to oppose my mind which is going in another direction and bring it back to what I want to. Heat is generated. This is tapas in Kali Yuga. Then, after that, what is the next? Swadhyaya. Now, Swadhyaya basically means self-study, not spoon-feeding. self-study, meaning that I have all the texts prescribed for me, I sit down and study myself. There is guidance, of course. In fact, we tried our best, we are still trying our best to introduce this even in the school here, Peepal Grove School. More of self-study than spoon-feeding. Because spoon-feeding is, you put it in, and after some time it goes out to the other side. Self-study is you imbibe what you study, because you put in some effort yourself and you try to study. This is Swadhyaya. It also means Swa means self, Swa Adhyaya, studying your own self. So, what do I mean studying my own self? Does it mean I say, okay, myself is the Supreme Brahman and so on? My self is the Atma, it is the... No. You don't know that yet. Somebody said it, of course. Shruti said it, but you don't know. Swadhyaya here means to study myself as I am today. Because if I don't study my mind as it is today, how am I going to change? How? I just sweep it under the rug and say, I am the Atman, I am the blissful, but I am not. You may be, but right now I am not. I have not understood that. I can keep on saying that I am the blissful Brahman. In fact, the Vedantins at one time, pure Vedantins, taught that simply by saying, Brahma Satyam Jagat Mithya, or by saying, I am the Brahman, you will attain. You can keep on saying, you will not attain. When you are about to die, all the I am the Brahman will disappear. The pain of leaving behind all that is dear to me. That is the greatest pain. Leave behind. Somebody says when you are going to die, you can take everything, including your watch and your house, and who is worried about death? Fear is that I have to leave behind all this. Now self-study will make you understand that you are actually like this and you have to change. Adi Shankara, after writing all the commentaries on the Gita and Brahma Sutra commentaries and Upanishads and all, finally said, your time is coming near, you fool, chant the name of Govinda. Are there bigger Vedantins around? Samprapte sannihite kale, the time is approaching. Nahi nahi rakshati dukhrana karane, all these grammatic constructions are not going to work. Bhaja Govindam, Govindam, Bhaja Mudhamate. I didn't say, he said. I'm afraid of calling anybody Mudha. So sometimes maybe I am Mudha, who knows. So anyway, self-study is to understand that I am Mudha. Self-study is to understand that even though I think I am not, but I am. Because if I don't know where I stand, how do I change? If I don't know that I am sitting on a stage which is how many feet would 3 feet above the ground, how will I get off? If I try to get up, I might fall down and break my leg. I must know where I stand. This looking at oneself is Swadhyaya. Are you still interested in Kriya Yoga? Okay. Then after Swadhyaya, the next thing mentioned is what? Ishwara Pranidhana. Now, please remember that the Yoga Darshana largely derives from its terminology and philosophy from Sankhya Darshana. Now, Sankhya Darshana of the great Muni Kapila, who was so important that Krishna has to mention in the Gita, among the Munis, I am Kapila. Right? But there is no concept of an Ishvara in Sankhya. They do not believe that there is a being sitting, creating human beings in a workshop, drilling, tinkering, and throwing them down on earth. This is a purely different concept, not an Indian concept. Here it is manifestation. The formula is manifested itself in forms and then goes back to the formless. It's like circular movement. What is born, dies and comes again. So it's not as if something new is produced. So, Sankhya therefore avoids mentioning the word Ishwara by saying that Ishwara is the ancient repository of all knowledge, infinite knowledge. This they accept as Ishwara. But that Ishwara of Sankhya cannot be contacted, cannot be touched. It's like the Brahman of the Upanishad. But Patanjali made a difference. He said one can, when the mind is purified, contemplate on Ishvara. With or without form, that is up depending on what your background is. Because many things that we think we can do, we really cannot do. But things happen when you surrender to the Ishvara. Therefore, Ishwara Pranidhana Ani means also Ishwara Pranidhana is part of yoga, yoga darshana. And what does he call this yoga with all these parts? Kriya Yoga. So please understand that when you do Kriya, it's not just a practice that you will learn from me. All this is included in Kriya. What is that? Tapas Swadhyaya Ishwarapranidhana. And for all this, you neither have to change your robes, nor have to change your hairstyle, nor do you have to do any such thing. Nor do you have to wear rudrakshas. You have to do nothing. You can do, but yes, you should discipline yourself. This is tapasya. Huh? So therefore, now, what I was going to say is when I was told to teach Kriya by Maheshwarnath Babaji, there were 22 rules given to me. Said, all people who follow this, you can teach Kriya. I said, please find somebody else. I cannot do this. Because there is nobody who will fit into all this. If you really want to do Kriya, give Kriya, let's be a little more soft. Right? No. 24. Out of which one is, one should not be married. So I said, what about Lahiri Mahashaya? How did Babaji give him Kriya? Or do you think you are Lahiri Mahashaya? So, so with a great deal of discussion and I won't say argument, because to argue with Maheshwarnath Babaji is to be slapped. So I am not like that. I am very soft. He told me, you're a weakling, you're a soft guy. So finally, with great deal of discussion, it was agreed that there are three qualifications are essential. And then I said, okay, now I can try. There is no guarantee that I will succeed, but I will try. And I think I have succeeded here and there, probably. All the people who take Kriya probably do, but it's okay. 1% is happy, I'm happy. Because we are not looking at numbers, we are looking at quality. We all know that en masse, nobody can achieve moksha. This is not possible. If somebody is saying that, if you have time, you can waste. If you have money, you can give, but this is of no use. It doesn't work. Hundreds and thousands of people suddenly, how? So it's also because it is basically connected to each individual. So you have to approach in different ways. With some people you have to be soft, with some people you have to be hard, with some people you have to be indifferent. Not that you really don't like anybody, but that's the way to go about it. Because people are all different. So what are the 3 rules we need? It's, how old is he?
10 and 2 months.
Should we give him Kriya now? Do you think he has any idea what is going on? Great. So, okay. Maybe you learn early which your elders didn't. So, okay. Now, how did I say? So you might think, oh, 3, that's simple, we can all do it. Well, easier said than done. We can only try our best. Please keep this in mind and don't say I will 100%. Say I'll try my best, which is good enough. Otherwise you can never learn Kriya. I mean, if everything is perfect, then why do Kriya at all? So, one is sticking to the truth. Now this is easier said than done. It applies only to those people who are not lawyers or politicians. So, stick to the truth. When you say stick to the truth, does it mean that if somebody is going to kill my wife, I will still say the truth? No. So you have to adapt and adjust. And if something is true, and yet it can cause injury to somebody, keep quiet. Don't say anything. It cannot be always possible to stick to the truth, in this world especially. So, if you can't say it, keep quiet. Don't say anything. And in your mind, the most important is not what you say to others and how you behave truthfully. In your own mind, am I truthful to myself? Which means, am I something and am I projecting something else? This is truth. Right? So, try your best to look into these matters. Don't say 100%, oh, then I will practice first, and when I'm 100% truthful, then life will end. So start somewhere. Say, I'll try my best and start your Kriya. 1, truthfulness. Second rule is very simple, practice daily. Try to be regular in your practice. The third rule is try not to cause injury to other living beings, and please include human beings in that. Human beings are also living beings, right? Not only animals. In fact, human beings are superior because they are aware of themselves, while the animals, they may be intelligent, but they don't have awareness of themselves to recognize their own consciousness. So try as much as possible, not much as possible, not to cause injury to other living beings. Now wait a minute. Suppose I am sleeping at home or meditating and somebody breaks in with a AK-47, you are allowed to be violent. What will you say? Om Namah Shivaya, and stand there. So be practical on these matters. Be practical, but avoid as much as you can. Now there is a golden rule for Yama Niyamas. These are called Yama Niyamas. Golden rule has been described by Krishna beautifully in the Bhagavad Gita. He said, this yoga is not for him who eats too much or eats too little, sleeps too much or sleeps too little. Applied to me also, one who talks too much or talks too little. So, this moderation is important in your life. Rest will come by regular, constant practice and by understanding that Sri Guru Babaji is what in Buddhist terminology is called your root guru. So these are the things which we are going to do. These are some of my favorite things. Now, we start tomorrow morning, and I'm going to take you into the Upanishad teaching, what we are seeking, where are we going. And then we have only then 1.5 days. Then I will start the Kriya in the evening session. and then the next whole day we will do Kriya. Everything that we learn, we will practice, not theory, so that by the end of the day 3, you had it, you got it. Now, please, those who think that they have already taken Kriya from me, think no, who have already taken Kriya, please listen carefully. Don't think I know all these things. Listen carefully and practice regularly, more regularly than the new guys. Because you might say, no, Sri M is there, he will take care of everything. I don't know. It happened in many cases. So, that's all I wanted to tell you. Now we have half an hour. You, especially those who are meeting me for the first time, especially, and also those who have met me before. If you have, we can take up a couple of questions. This is how the satsang is going to be throughout. Because I don't want to keep on talking and not allow you to ask questions. And today we got little time. Tomorrow, less. See, even the Bhagavad Gita is called a Samvaad. Sri Krishna Arjuna Samvaade. Now, wait a minute. Now, since we are on the Gita, see, I told you I have a tendency to talk too much. The last sentence of every chapter of the Gita, last sentence, one is very simple to understand. Iti Srimad Bhagavad Gita. So, this is the Bhagavad Gita. Understood? Iti Srimad Bhagavad Gita. So then the next one, Upanishadsu. You might not have thought that Bhagavad Gita is an Upanishad. Upanishadsu, which means it is the Upanishad, essence of the Upanishad. In fact, Vyasa himself says that it is Sarvo Upanishato Gavo Dugda Gopalanandana Partho Vatsaha Sudhir Bhokta Dugdam Gita Amritam Mahat, which means, English now, not Greek and Latin. If you consider all the Upanishads as cows, I'm saying this unfortunately, today Sanskrit has been given I don't know what level and people don't study it. Don't look at it as a religious language or a denominational. It's an advanced language which has many things in it. Okay, so if all the Upanishads are the cows, Dugdha Gopalanandana, if Krishna is the one who is milking those cows, Partho Vatsaha, and who is the calf of the cow? Partha, Arjuna. Because every time the calf hits the udder with its head, more milk flows. Dugdam Gita Amritam Mahat. Oh, also Sudhir Bhokta, which the wise enjoy. Dugdam Gita Amritam Mahat. That Amrita that bestows immortality or makes one realize that there is an immortal element in us is the Amrita, which is the milk. So the Gita also is Upanishad. Gita is Upanishad in simple language, divided into 18 chapters, so you go step by step. Because to read the Brahma Sutra is well nigh impossible. So, therefore, it is Srimad Bhagavad Gita. So Upanishad, so this is the Upanishad. What does Upanishad teach you? Brahma Vidyayam, the knowledge of the Supreme Brahman. But there is one sentence added there, one in the middle, which is Yoga Shastra, which means it is the practice of yoga. Although all the 18 chapters of the Gita are called yogas, starting with Arjuna Vishada Yoga. Right? So, Bhagavad Gita is a Samvaad. Sri Krishna Arjuna Samvaade. And then the chapter is described. But you will notice, even though it's called Samvaad, most of the time Krishna is only talking. Arjuna butts in here and there and says, how is this possible for me to do and so on. And Krishna says, he didn't say shut up, but okay, let me explain. So, sometimes even in a dialogue, you need to talk a bit. So you'll forgive me for that, because otherwise simply we will be discussing nothing. Nothingness. Oh, true nothingness is great. But so, yes. Put up your hands and I will select who I'm going to ask. That doesn't mean anything. If I don't select somebody, that doesn't mean somebody is higher, lower, nothing. Okay. Okay, let me suggest something to you. First, think of not harming human beings. Then we'll think of the insects later. Okay. By thought, word or deed. Thought, word or deed. Thought, word or deed. Try not to hurt or cause misunderstandings to human beings first, because the poor insects cannot have a dialogue with us, so no possibility of that. Then we'll talk about the insects later. This much I can tell you. If I am sitting outside and meditating, and if there is a mosquito which is constantly stinging me, I would send it to Nirvana. Yeah. I don't know if you are really practicing regularly, I am very happy.
Yes, sir, I am doing.
Then I am happy.
Oh, thank you so much. That's what I wanted. And sir, I just wanted to thank you for everything.
Thank you. So, one has to be constantly watchful. Watchfulness need not come only during meditation. Watchfulness should be, it's a difficult thing, I'm not saying it's easy. Everyday life, when you go around, you should be watchful. And if you don't want to say something in reaction to something, just shut up. Although it may increase your blood pressure, that shutting up is what doesn't matter. See, be aware all the time so that when it's happening you can catch it. You may not be able to not do it sometimes, but you can at least catch it and say, yes, and I must stop it next time. Tapas is the answer. Fight it. Fight it. Nobody can help you with this. So, tapasya means that you fight this tendency, that it happens to everybody. You are not an exception. Many people it happens. They practice, something has happened, it's gone for some time. The main thing is, are you reviving it again? If you are reviving it again and not just letting it go, then at some point it will become constant. You have to, there is no way. Please don't tell me that I have to help you, please. You have to do, okay. We also help in some way, so don't worry. Okay. Now, I have to say this. Always find some time during your month or year or something where you spend few days in solitude. Doesn't matter what work is there. Do go out of your usual circumstances and sit quietly and meditate, go for walks, but it should not be your daily routine. Unfortunately today, even if you go to such a place, you have the internet. It keeps coming. So you're not going to die if you switch it off for a while. Nothing will happen. Just switch it off for a while and just do your quiet meditation. Have these periods of solitude so that after some time, even when you're working, doing, it's behind you in the background, it's working still. It needs practice. Remember who said it? Thakur Sri Ramakrishna Paramahamsa said it. Now he said it to all his disciples, including Swami Vivekananda. Now Swami Vivekananda was his closest disciple, whom he appointed to be the chief disciple himself. And how much work did that man do? One man did work which 100 people cannot do in 100 years. In fact, he tired his body out, and his body was pretty sick when he passed away. You'll see all those pictures, you won't believe it. Yes. So, if he could do it, I'm not saying you should be like Vivekananda, but he also heard the same teachings of Ramakrishna. So to start with, I suggest that you take up some time in solitude. During that solitude, don't let anything affect you. I know nowadays you can't live like that keep 1 hour in a day when you can communicate, then shut it off. Do try. The idea is not to react at all, but you're right, sometimes you keep not venting and then it becomes more and comes out. So if it doesn't happen to everybody, some people are like that. So for you the advice would be keep venting 24 hours till you're free of it. But deep down don't think of harming the person in any way. You say that you can say, hey, you're a fool, all that is fine. But don't throw a hammer at them. And that's all we need to do. Practically, I'm saying. There's nobody who's perfect. But practice Kriya. Practice Kriya regularly and fix your attention on that which is beyond the body. We'll come to that tomorrow when we learn. I understand what you're saying, fully. Can we dump all these speculations, atma, this, that and all, and say, I will take a decision?
Yeah.
Doesn't matter who is taking.
Yeah.
Try to have willpower and don't worry about where it comes from. Look, I'll explain to you. You have electricity, right? You know how to use it for various things?
Yeah.
You don't have to worry where the source is coming. Where is this our station from where the electricity is coming? Who is bringing it? These are not things that we need to worry about. We need to worry about how to utilize it properly and creatively rather than destructively. That's what. And the electricity is such a thing that you can make creative things out of it and you can also put your finger and die. Right? Not you, I'm saying in general. So, for some time, what happens when we want to do many things is that these thoughts about where it comes, what it is, and also if you have read a little bit here and there, many terms come into the picture. Antakarna, for instance. You don't know exactly what antakarna is. Anyway, so better that you resolve, no matter antakarna or andhakarna, I will do it.
Okay, sir.
Got
it. Thank you.
Yeah, you understand what I'm saying? Otherwise it will put you off.
Thank you.
By the time you solve that problem, it's over. Okay, one thing. When somebody says have faith, they also know that you don't know. If you know, there is no need of faith. Right? If the sun rises in the morning, you don't have to say it is written in the Shruti that the sun is rising. You don't have to say, I have faith that the sun, because you see it rising. When the word faith comes, when you really don't know about something, and therefore you have faith in the sense that you say, let me find out. This is where faith enters the picture. Otherwise, there is no need of faith. If you know everything, why faith? Not required. Faith is when you don't know. And I am trying to figure out. Then the faith comes into the picture. Like you said, I don't know if there is God, so why can I have? So therefore, the thought in your mind should be, I don't know if there is God. What if there was God? If I don't do it, I might be screwed. So, this is faith, which means at least suspend your judgment. You need not be sure about it. Suspend your judgment and then continue with your practice. One day it will happen. Keep working on it. Everybody who practices has lean days and good days. It's normal. So about the question of whether God is going to help you or whether, leave that in suspense. Say when I advance in yoga, I'll probably find out. But I will not say no. You see, saying no is as good as saying yes. Because one doesn't know the fact, one is only based on assumptions, this and that. So why don't we have a positive assumption instead of a negative assumption? Maybe there is somebody. And if I say yes, it means nothing to you, right? Surrender is hardly possible for human beings. When you say surrender, normally what we mean is, I will surrender a few things, I will keep the rest to myself. All human beings are like that. I surrender, yes, a little bit. The other, no, that I will keep to I can't surrender. Once in Rajasthan, someplace, I don't want to tell you, I was sitting with Maheshwarnath Babaji, and one day I decided that this is the best thing to do. I'm trying this is not working. Babaji, I totally surrender to you. He looked at me. Then he looked, there was a well there. He said, Jao, kuwe mein kood jao. I said, what? He said, you just now said you have surrendered totally to me. Then my intellect starts working. Why should I jump in there? Maybe because I ask a question, he doesn't like it, he wants me to die. All kinds of things. So surrender is well-nigh impossible in this world. When you say surrender, we are saying we'll surrender what is inconvenient to us and keep what is convenient to ourselves. I have surrendered everything, but I will keep my gold bricks in the safe deposit. Right? So it's more an attitude of mind rather than what you surrender, the things that you surrender. Then it comes when you understand that there are certain things, however much I work, however it's not happening. So can I leave that and say, okay, please take care of this? That's a good point to start. You cannot think of surrendering everything. I mean, it's almost impossible to do that. Yeah. Start somewhere. Keep your gold bricks. Rest of it. Look, I don't know about this Ananda, what Kriya, I don't know really. But since they come from the lineage of Yogananda Paramahamsa and therefore Lahiri Mahasaya and so on, I do not think your what is that? The problems you are having are anything to do with Kriya. I think it could be something different. Because while I don't know what that Kriya is, I have not explored with them, so I cannot tell you whether it's causing. But generally, since it comes from a certain lineage, I do not think that that Kriya has to do with what you're feeling. It may not be. So generally, I think you should have a general health checkup. Physical.
Yeah.
Or try changing your Kriya. But then if you change your Kriya, then you will be changing it all the time. One day you will do this Kriya Ananda, then another day self-realization fellowship, Yoga Satsang, then one day this Kriya of Sri M, whatever you are doing, and then it will go on like that, then there is no time left afterwards. So my suggestion is to stick to one as much as you can. Choose, take time to choose. And the suffocation you feel, I do not think it is linked to Kriya. Because as far as I know, the Kriya they might be doing is certainly, it comes from Yukteswar Maharaj. It cannot cause suffocation. I don't know, really.
Okay.
please do a good health checkup and see if there is anything. So do you want to take Kriya again? Even if you do whatever you're doing, I'm happy with that. Yeah. Samadhi, he himself attained Samadhi. So look, today, tomorrow, if I say I'm going to lock myself up in Padmasana and do the Khechari Mudra and stop all functioning, Babaji used to call it spiritual suicide. And you're dead, you're gone, you're in some. Okay. Now I'm involved in it, nobody else is involved in it.
Okay.
It's
was
your
decided
own.
by Maheshwarnath Babaji himself.
Yes, yes, of course. The Samadhi is for me, not for somebody else. Now I can't attain Samadhi for you.
Yeah. Thank you, sir.
No, seriously. Unfolding. How do we accept it in the way it is unfolding? Is that what you say? You have to. You can do nothing about it, then you can only accept it. You plan your life, it's not working that way. So you need to watch carefully and see what next plan you can do, or go with the stream for some time. So what you have to do in such situations is to just in the mind say, surrender in the mind. Say that probably I wanted to go this way, it looks like it's going this way. Let me see what happens afterwards. Maybe it's for the good. See, very often what we want may not be exactly what we need. Two things. Usually it gets mixed up. We think what we want is what we need. Maybe in the long run, what we need may happen when what we want may not happen. Sometimes, not always. Keep this in mind and see how things move. Worst setback for sadhana? Yes, that you don't practice daily. It is the worst setback for sadhana, that you don't practice daily. So try to put your energy into practicing it daily. It's not easy, mind you. I'm saying it, but it is not so easy. Many distractions will come. You may go this way, that. Come back to it. Huh? And chant the Guru Mantra regularly. You know the Guru Mantra. Om Hrim Sri Guru Bhyo Namaha. Keep chanting. We will do the Guru Mantra for the new people who have come before we go further. Sandhya Vandanam every day is not yoga, but it is a sadhana which if you are doing, you should not stop. You should continue. Because it has various advantages. One is the chanting of the Gayatri. Second is if you're doing the entire Sandhya Vandana, it will take quite some time. You have pranayam, you have shuddhi, many things to be done. If you're doing, let nothing interfere with what you're doing. If you have time and if you're able to do it, it's one of the best things to do. One. Second, if you're practicing Kriya, practice Kriya after Sandhya. Because then your mind is clear. Both the waking state, dream state and deep sleep, bhur, bhuvasva, they've all been cleared. Right? So, this is the right time to practice Kriya.
Thank you.
I'm not saying that everybody should practice Sandhya Vandana, okay? He is practicing, so it is a good thing for him. Sorry. We have 2.5 days more going, so in between we can stop and ask questions 100%. I believe in that, so let's do that. Huh? So I hope today's introduction is okay for you all. Thank you very much. Narayana Hari, Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. I always like to say Narayana Hari, I don't know why, don't ask me. Yes, now we have half an hour of silent meditation. May I suggest that all of us together chant Om 7 times together. And then just shut up and sit quietly and do whatever you are accustomed to be doing for the moment. Tell me when you are ready. Shall we? Follow me. Hari Om Tat Sat. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.